It's Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Keatsman, in with you for the next drizzly, drippy, rainy hour, leading you up to the Vince Show, coming your way at 11 o'clock. And we got some great stories today to share with you. Hopefully some things you either haven't heard or something that will amuse you or inspire you to consider something. We got a lot of those today, including yet another NFL team that is not renovating. They're building a brand new stadium. It was announced yesterday. This one may shock you because this team, just less than 20 years ago, spent $700 million renovating the stadium they're in now. And they're walking away from it, going to a brand new park in the suburbs with mixed-use development around it. We'll give you that information. Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, is all over the city of Charlotte after that young lady, Irina Zarutska, was murdered by DeCarlos Brown Jr. on video. That has horrified America. It appears the Trump administration is about to defund any public funds that come from transportation to America's biggest city where public transportation has no safety or security. We've got some incredible crime stats for you on the show today. And Eric Stonestreet shared big news on Instagram. We'll save that for the end of the show. It's very interesting. We're going to start with what I hope is the best thing you hear today. The dream for any broadcaster is to do a show where you can play something or say something that the people listening will share with their closest friends, family, whatever, the rest coworkers, the rest of the day and say, I heard this thing, you won't believe it. I hope I have that today because it gave me goosebumps when I saw this. You will not be able to see it. It's on video, but the audio is good enough. It was put out by our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. He boarded the USS Iwo Jima, which is in the Caribbean, which sounds like a great assignment, doesn't it? The Iwo Jima doesn't land the airplanes, the jets. It has a whole bunch of helicopters. In fact, the normal complement is about 30 attack and strike aircraft. They have missiles. They got all kinds of cool stuff on here. As a strike group with supporting ships around it, it would have about 6,000 sailors and Marines. But on the ship itself, there are about 1,800 of the finest men and women that the United States has. They're in the Navy and they're in the Marines. And Pete Hegseth, personally, this is what we voted for, folks. You can never imagine Lloyd Austin doing this under Joe Biden. Personally, has flown to the Caribbean and is boarding the ships that are patrolling the area where narco-terrorists are trafficking drugs to the United States, and we're shutting them down. After I play the clip, I'm going to tell you what I think is going on with this movement by our military. I was, as you know, if you've listened for several months, a little skeptical of Pete Hegseth being the new Secretary of War. He was Secretary of Defense for a while, only because he was a celebrity. We know there was a lot of controversy around him. That didn't bother me. You know, past indiscretions or whatever doesn't bother me. Somebody who's sober and clean and as committed to America as Pete Hegseth, I was all in on that. And his resume is excellent. I just thought Trump had kind of gotten into a little bit of a funk where he was hiring a lot of celebrities to be pretty high positions within his cabinet. Pete Hegseth has blown me away with how great he's done. And part of it is messaging, showing America what it is the United States Department of War is all about and what our military can do. This is true leadership. He flew in one of these helicopters. He boarded the USS Iwo Jima. He went right to the bridge, and he grabbed the radio microphone to address everyone.
To the sailors and Marines of the Iwo Jima, Godspeed. It's an honor to be aboard with you today. You are an incredible representation of America and American power. You're trained, you're prepared, you're ready, and you're lethal. And the American people are counting on you to ensure the American homeland is kept safe. So I charge you, it's not if, it's when. You're on mission. Narco-terrorists and drug traffickers are on notice. We will no longer allow the poisoning of the American people. And the full power of the American military, used precisely with a clear mission, will be used to ensure the American people are kept safe.
I'm getting goosebumps again. It's just sensational. If you haven't seen the video, you can find it probably online. If you're on social media, just follow Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. They post things like this a lot. He's very active. He fits in. He served. He's really smart, Ivy League educated, and just has that natural presence about him. Oh, it's just spectacular. Okay, it's going to go up on the KCMO Talk Radio social media pages. I'll be putting it up at KK Has Issues is where you can follow me on X. That's at KK Has Issues, or Facebook. My wife does the Facebook page, so I don't know what's on there. But at KK Has Issues is where you can go find everything that I post or repost. Pete Hegseth is awesome, and I think what's going on here is going to grow. I don't think this story is going to go away anytime soon. I don't think these boats are going to challenge us much. I think having ships in the sea in the Caribbean, after having blown one out of the water, and the Secretary of War boarding the USS Iwo Jima, which is clearly escalating this for us because they buzzed us with some planes on some of the other smaller ships that we had there. The Venezuelans sent some planes out. Trump, live in front of cameras a few days ago, told his chairman of the Joint Chiefs, whatever you got to do, just do it. I trust you. Do what you have to do. Don't put any of our men and women in harm's way. If they keep messing with us, because Venezuela's threatening to fly planes over and fire fake shots like the Russians do sometime, I think, and this may become a liberal talking point, I think Trump is provoking them. I think he wants them to do something stupid, and he wants to go take them out. Then he can do targeted strikes at Maduro and kill him. It would not be any more complicated than that. I mean, we found bin Laden in a mountain. We clearly know how to hit things the size of a dime, and it can't be that hard to find out where Maduro is in Venezuela. That can't be hard. So, in a way, yes, we're trafficking the narco, and I do think it's going to stop the flow of drugs. If you're one of these people working in Venezuela, bringing all this stuff to make fentanyl to the United States, and you saw the video, they've all seen the video, folks. There's not a person in Venezuela that hasn't seen that video. And by the way, cheered that video. Most Venezuelans would cheer that and love that. And if you're one of those people that's on those boats charged with bringing that stuff here, you might be thinking about putting in your 2 weeks' notice. The DEA announced yesterday that between August 25th and 29th, they had a massive sweep in the northeast portion of the United States. A lot of this was in New England, but some of it was down in Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, places like that. But it was all east of the Mississippi. 23 different field divisions of our DEA coordinated over 4.5 days to arrest 600 people affiliated with the Sinaloa cartel. Let me repeat that number. It's 611 total, I think. It's just over 600 people were arrested that are affiliated with the Sinaloa drug cartel in Mexico. They seized $11 million in cash, which isn't much. It's not, it sounds like it, but it's not. That's not the money going back to Mexico. That's the money for the 600 people here. They just found this on them. That's their cut. These people live off cash. They don't pay taxes. They probably get government checks while they're doing this, because many of them are American citizens. The photos they put out, it's not just a bunch of Hispanic-looking people working for the Sinaloa cartel. It's a whole bunch of white people dealing meth for the cartel. They pay their share back to the cartel. They keep theirs for themselves. This is widespread in our country. 23 different field divisions arrest over 600 people, many of them Americans, all throughout the East. 420 guns taken away, 750,000 pills, fentanyl powder, which is used to make fentanyl, cocaine, heroin, meth. It's all there, and there were plenty of white people that were arrested. This is what you voted for, ladies and gentlemen. I know I say that a lot on this show. We got a lot of things that are important to us. Closing the border, illegal immigration, cutting down on crime, ridiculous thug killers like that guy in Charlotte who's schizophrenic and was released after being charged and arrested 14 times. Don't get bogged down by the bad news. Don't get bogged down by the judges that are letting people go. Don't get bogged down by the Democrats who say we can't have law enforcement. Know this. It's happening every day, everywhere. This administration is not sleeping on any of this. You've got your Secretary of War on a ship in the Caribbean stopping drugs coming from America. If we could just get a yellow light instead of a red light from the president of Mexico, Trump would be doing targeted strikes on cartels in Mexico. This would be very, very easy to do. I personally believe he's going to do it after the midterms. I don't think he's going to need permission. I think he's going to go in and wipe them out. I think he wants his legacy to be he did to the drug cartels what he did to ISIS. Now, the Democrats may come along and have the White House someday for 8 years and the whole thing reforms. But I'm telling you, he's doing the right thing for all of us. And it's working. It's thorough, it's comprehensive, and it's everywhere. You don't have 1,800 crew on the USS Iwo Jima and 30 aircraft, and you're not serious about stopping drugs from Venezuela. Your DEA doesn't coordinate 23 field divisions over 4 days and arrest 600 people if you're not serious. It's incredible the things that don't make headlines in this country today. Yes, if it's caught on video, it's the big story. And that is horrific what happened in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm not diminishing that story in any way. I think Pete alluded to this earlier about the Ralph Yarl case in the Northland. Look, it's almost like things don't make news unless they're on video and we can see it for ourselves. Sometimes you got to use your imagination a little bit. 23 field divisions arrested 600 people. Do we really need a lot of video of that? I think you know what that looked like over 4.5 days. It's awesome work. It's incredible work. It's an absolute commitment. And they're taking down armed people that are insanely dangerous work that these people are doing. And it's not, and while we'll have an overwhelming force in the Caribbean versus any narco terrorists trying to get through, that's still dangerous work. Those people have little rocket launchers on them too. No, I'm for this. I'm all for this. It is making America a better place. You're not going to feel it today. We're going to look back in 5 years. There's going to be crime stats in 2030 that are going to boggle our mind how much better they are than they are in 2024, 2025. We're going to see it everywhere. Murders are going to be down, violent crime, drug usage, overdoses, fentanyl use. All these things are going to come down. Will it end all of it? I mean, probably not. There's always bad people, and some bad people always get away with something. But sign me up for all this action, man. And Pete Hegseth, I don't know how else to say it. That was just badass. You just board that ship and address the 1,800 crew like that? Yeah. No. It's not if, it's when. You're on your mission, and they're coming. Something's going to happen. You're not just floating around here, in the Caribbean getting a suntan. There's action coming your way. That's why he was there. And I think in maybe what Democrats will describe in a very negative tone, in a negative way, I think it's what the Trump administration wants. I think they want some easy action where they can show incredible force as a deterrent to the Mexican cartels, the Venezuelans, and everyone. And then the bigger picture, obviously, being the Chinese. We're cutting off the money of the things that you're supplying to these people over here because there's going to be no market. We're closing your market for these drugs. And in the end, the whole world's a better place for that. 913-408-7957. That's 408-7957. If you'd like to comment, love to hear from you next on Uncanceled. Hey, welcome back to the show. We're taking your phone calls if you'd like to join us. 913-408-7957. I've got room to get a couple more folks on. If you'd like to dial me up right now, we can get you in. We're going to begin with Wes in Gladstone today. Good morning, Wes. How are you?
Hey, good. How things have changed. So they find a bag of cocaine in Biden's White House. They can't figure out whose it is. And Trump's DEA bust all of those people that are working for the cartels. I would say it's like night and day, but it's even more drastic than that, man.
I think you're right. We've got a Secretary of War on a ship in the middle of the Caribbean stopping narco terrorists from bringing drugs in. And you're right. Look, they know exactly whose cocaine it was and exactly how it got there. They're just never going to say it. Now, the question is, can the Trump people find out? Because I think that would be a fun one to spring at some point.
Yeah. You and Pete know more about politics than I do, but I wish Trump could go on national TV and say, I'm taking out the cartels in Mexico before the midterms. I wish he could do that, but probably the politics probably wouldn't allow it.
Well, he wouldn't say it. He'd just do it. And the question is, if he did one targeted strike against somebody really big and got the leader and a whole bunch of lieutenants, would it break up the other cartels? Would the other cartels say, you know what, it's time to move on into something else? Let's stop doing business in America. Let's find gambling or whatever it is. Let's do our crimes here in Mexico and just keep it right here and stop going to the United States. Ultimately, what you want to do, the reason you do this is not because you're going to kill everybody. You just want to deter it all. And you send a giant message to the Chinese, stop sending everything you're sending over here to make all these drugs for these cartels. And if you can do this as a deterrent, you win. My goodness, even if we just cut 50% wouldn't be enough, but if he cut 75, 80% of what's coming in, it will make a huge difference in our country on so many different levels. Overdose deaths, health, crime, everything that comes with this, people coming in, it would just be a major, major benefit. I'm hoping this is a giant deterrent to all of this nonsense.
Well, didn't Jeanine Pirro have a press conference last week where they had confiscated all this fentanyl precursors on the out at sea? I mean, she had all these barrels of all these precursors and stuff. So that didn't get a lot of play, but those had to come from China. So, yeah, it's a great day in America, baby.
It is. Thank you, Wes. Awesome call as always. Yeah, Jeanine Pirro did a video where she was in this warehouse where they seized all these barrels of whatever it is that you make fentanyl with. I don't know. I know nothing about drugs, okay? So she's in this warehouse, and it's just an enormous amount of barrels, drums, filled with stuff that they seized from a ship. And it made it sound like we got to be careful here because how do you dispose of this? I mean, it's like toxic chemicals. So they got to work their way through that. But yes, things are being stopped everywhere. And eventually, and Trump knows this as much as everything else. When I say you can't stop it all, if you start stopping enough of it, their profits go away. And that alone will do it. They'll just say it's not worth it. We're not making the profit we did before. This whole operation isn't worth it. You move on into another business. That doesn't mean they can't do something other nefarious. These are bad people. But they're largely bad people in other countries. And do we really care if they want to go into gambling or racketeering or whatever in Mexico? I'm sorry. I'm not an isolationist per se, but I really don't care that much. If it becomes Mexico's problem that these bad people that run these cartels start doing gambling or shaking down businesses or getting involved in politics and doing nefarious things and wire fraud and bank transfers, that's not going to bother me. I'd rather them do that than have their cartels here in the United States. I'd rather that than them rolling up I-35 and out I-70 through Kansas City nonstop, bringing drugs into our country with all the guns and everything that they have. I'm all in favor of them keeping their crime at home and not exporting it to America. But we're such a huge, ridiculously wealthy market. Everybody wants to do business here, including the worst people on earth. That's ultimately what leads to all this. I'm thrilled to see this, man. I'm thrilled. I hope you enjoyed that Pete Hegseth clip. When I saw that yesterday, I just got goosebumps. I'm like, man, Wes is right. How times have changed from cocaine in a cubby just outside the Oval Office to a Secretary of War on the USS Iwo Jima in the Caribbean, of all places, stopping the Venezuelans are easy fodder. That's not like trying to stop the Chinese. Go for the Venezuelans first and get the job done. When Uncanceled continues, yet another NFL team is not renovating. They're building new. That's next. Still ahead, another NFL team is not renovating. They're building brand new and moving, about 20 miles to their new location. We'll tell you what that's all about shortly. We're still taking your phone calls. A lot of folks want to chime in on our topics today, and we're always pleased with that. This is a great forum for such things, and we have Rick in Lafayette County joining us now. Hi, Rick. How are you today?
Hey, good morning, Kevin. I've been listening to you and Pete. I usually do every morning, and I want to thank you and Pete for bringing forth some information that you're not going to get anywhere else, like Pete on the 23 breakdown of murder statistics, and you on the Pete Hegseth thing. And I'm so tired of our news media. There is no news media. I feel like I'm in an information desert because Fox News, Real America Voice, and Newsmax, they run their host, and then they run the same 4 stories every hour, and they just bring in a circle group of talking heads to tell you what you just saw and their opinion on what you just saw, instead of utilizing the news time and the airtime to bring information to the people. Am I wrong, or am I seeing it wrong?
It's very kind of you to say that about this show and Pete's show and this radio station. I appreciate that. I've got a little bit of a weird job here, okay? I'm a sandwich. Pete does 4 hours. Vince does 3. I'm sandwiched in between for an hour. I wake up every day and do a podcast, and then I start worrying about my hour repeating something that Pete did, or the other thing I try to do is avoid anything that I think Vince might be leading with. Unless something really big is going on, I'm just trying. I figure Vince is going to be spending a lot of time on the Charlotte, North Carolina thing, so I'm staying mostly off that today. Okay, so that's just kind of, I just want you to know how we do that. And Pete is so connected to everyone in Kansas City that he gets all kinds of, I listen to his show and I learn so much because I don't know so much of the local stuff that he's in on, because he's got 6 years, 7 years of contacts now of working all these sources and all these people in Kansas City. It's an absolute gem. So I'm in a bit of a weird spot, so I appreciate you including me in that. I try real hard to try to find things that are different. Let me add a stat for what Pete was talking about earlier, and that was the percentage of crime, the black on white and the white on black crime. There's a podcaster named Benny Johnson that posted yesterday. This is not me. I just saw this. And Benny Johnson, you may have heard his name. He's very popular. He's got millions of followers. He posted yesterday that 1 in 22 black men in America will commit murder. They are only 6% of the population, black men, in the United States, and they commit 52% of all murders. Nobody wants to say that. He then went on to say that the root cause of this, because all the Democrats want to talk about his root cause, is that 70% of black kids born in America today are done so without a father in the home, and 70% of black men incarcerated today in prison had no father at home. We know what the problem is. Nobody wants to talk about it. So that's what you're getting at. When you're saying the news doesn't give you the actual story, that's it. Pete was on that earlier today on the black versus white and white versus black crime, but this just sums it up completely. You can't have the numbers that I just said and not understand what we're doing wrong in our society. The question is, what can we do about it? You can't make fathers stay at home in households. So I don't know what we can do about it, but it's an epidemic. It's a bad problem.
Well, I just wish they'd just go back to the old-fashioned news where they, even if they're going to have a continuous 24-hour news station, report the news. Don't run the same 4 stories. I'm sick of hearing about Rosie O'Donnell. I'm sick of hearing about the Philly mom. Those are consequential things that are going on in the world right now. And I wish they wouldn't waste all my time trying to filter through this and figure out what's going on in the world.
Rick, we're glad you're with us here, man. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you. Appreciate you very much, man. Very kind compliments there to the radio station. We definitely appreciate that. Steve's in the Northland. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hey, Kevin, I love what you're doing. This latest statistic that you just gave, it just is eye-opening. And what you with Pete Hegseth and that segment on Hegseth, the thing that this station, you and Pete, and not so much you, honestly, but what's going on in Ukraine and the origins of what's going on in Ukraine have not been reported. The 2014 revolution was our responsibility. Our CIA with George Soros went over there and deposed Viktor Yanukovych. And by the way, and then after that happened, they put these biolabs on the border. And you know something? If something like that were happening on our southern border, we would put a stop to it. And we have, what's being said about Putin is on a lot of it's lies. And Putin's looking out for his people. He is 100% Russia first. And if Viktor Yanukovych were still the president of Ukraine, we wouldn't be dealing with this. We're responsible for it.
We are absolutely.
By the way, it's got Jewish footprints and fingerprints all over it.
I can't argue with anything you're saying. I know that we're very complicit in everything that's happened in Ukraine, and I'm not smart enough to know the solution. I think peace would be a great place to start. I know Trump's trying to do that. After that, we probably have to figure out exactly what Ukraine's place in the world is. I don't want us to get too bogged down on saying we want a regime change or Zelensky's got to go or this or that, but I think Zelensky's as dirty as anyone. I mean, he's put his political opponents in jail. They do all the things that dictators do. That's not a democracy. Ukraine is not a democracy. And I don't know how it's going to be a democracy after this is over unless Zelensky's gone and a new government's installed and a real democracy's put in place. But one of the things that Putin wants is, elections, but Putin wants elections that he's going to control. So I don't know how you get free and fair elections there.
In Crimea, they did a referendum and they all voted to join Russia.
I know.
That's the problem. There's a huge Russian population in Ukraine, especially in the Donbass region. What's going on over there is our doing. We did it. And Jews within our country, in our CIA, in our State Department are the reason for it. And getting involved over in the Middle East is the same thing. We should have nothing to do with it.
All right, buddy. Well, let's have this to do with it. Let's get it ended. Let's have some role in ending it that doesn't involve putting any of our people in harm's way. I'm all in favor of that because it is senseless, all the people that are dying. All right, on to something a little bit lighter that's been obviously a huge topic in Kansas City this past, 3-4 years, and seems to be going nowhere. It's actually moving faster elsewhere than here now, which is surprising. It was announced an hour before kickoff last night in Chicago before the Bears played the Vikings. They sent an email out to every season ticket holder 1 hour before kickoff that the Bears are leaving Soldier Field and they're moving to Arlington Heights, 25 miles away in the suburb, where they will build a new stadium and put in a bid to have the 2031 Super Bowl. And they believe they'll get it. And I believe they'll get it. I don't even know what they're going to do with their stadium, where they're going to do I hope they do like Buffalo, where Buffalo's built a stadium that covers 2/3 of the fans and provides some heat and keeps you out of the elements in many ways. But the field itself is playing in the elements, although it would certainly be warmer down on the field than outside in February for a Super Bowl. I don't care. I think the Super Bowl should be played in cold conditions. I don't know why we always think you have to go somewhere sunny and warm or a dome for that game. Like, that game is more important than an AFC or an NFC title game? It's not. And I don't know why the NFL has always been that way. But the Bears apparently have a green light from the NFL that they're going to get a Super Bowl when they build their new stadium in Arlington Heights, which is 25 miles northwest of Soldier Field. Soldier Field, 20 years ago, was renovated for almost $700 million, or 3 times the amount the Chiefs spent on their renovation. It was described as the best new stadium in the world when it was done. Arrowhead was more of a renovation. Soldier Field was like what Kansas is doing. Kansas Stadium is going to be unrecognizable. It's going to be a brand new stadium by the time it's all finished. Memorial Stadium will be gone, and the booth, as they're just going to call it, is going to be like a brand new stadium unto itself. That's what they did in Chicago 20 years ago for $700 million, and they're done with it. If you watched the game last night, you know it's got many more amenities, it's much more modern, it's much more updated than Arrowhead Stadium, and they're done. They're out. As recently as a year ago, the general manager and the president of the team in Chicago were telling the great people of Chicago that they were looking at a downtown site for a new domed stadium, not too far from Soldier Field. That's where they were going to build it. They were lying. They lied all along. And then an hour before kickoff, they announced to their fans they're moving to Arlington Heights because now the season's underway and really the only thing that matters is what's going on the field. Does that sound like anything that's going on here? Honestly, the Bears were talking about Arlington Heights. They bought the land. They did what the Royals did. They had contracts on the land in Arlington Heights and kept saying, we're building downtown, we're building downtown, we're building downtown. And then an hour before kickoff, they let their season ticket holders know first, we're moving to Arlington Heights. It's done. We're out of here. Soldier Field is no more. If you watched Sunday night football on Sunday night in Buffalo, a most amazing football game. It was 41-40. Bills came back from 15 down at the end. Josh Allen was ridiculous. If you watched that, you noticed throughout the game, and especially at one point, they did a long piece on it. All of the muckety-mucks from NBC and the team and all these people were over at the new Bills Stadium, which is right next door. Now, they're building a brand new one on the same site, but it's also going to have entertainment and mixed use and all these things they're going to build. And it is unbelievable what they're building in Buffalo. They're not renovating their stadium. Now, maybe the Chiefs decide to do that. Maybe they decide to build a bigger, more beautiful, more fan-friendly, more economically friendly for the team building next door where the Royals currently are. If the Royals would ever get off the pot and make their move, which is what I think the Chiefs are waiting on, is the Royals to go first. I think it will be highly unusual. Well, it is. That's not even an opinion. The fact of the matter is, if the Chiefs renovate Arrowhead Stadium, they're doing something nobody else in the NFL is doing. Nobody. Now, that doesn't mean they won't build a brand new one right next to Arrowhead. Again, I'm not saying the location necessarily, but nobody's doing this. I can't imagine Clark Hunt, maybe the most shrewd owner in the league, the second wealthiest family behind Denver, that's Walmart people, the second wealthiest ownership, and all of the things that we see them doing to make a profit, to make money. They're unbelievably great capitalists, and I'm not bad-mouthing that in any way. I cannot imagine them staying in that location. I just personally can't see why they would do that. But maybe they will. Chicago Bears are done. They're done at Soldier Field. That is the oldest stadium. I guess the land where they play football there is the oldest location in the NFL. But the stadium is basically a 20-year-old palace. It's gorgeous. I've been there. I mean, what they spent, what would that money be today? It'd be like a $2 billion renovation today. What they spent just 20 years ago. It's spectacular, but they're going all new. They're doing mixed use. They're developing all the way around it. It's what everybody in the NFL is doing. 913-408-7957, the number to call. We come back, we'll check in with Mark. A lot of great topics left, including big news from Modern Family and Kansas City native Eric Stonestreet. That's next on KCMO. So I have a guest on my podcast today for a short period of time toward the back end of it. My podcast is Kevin Kietzman Has Issues. If you go to kkhasissues.com, you can listen right there, or you can hit like, follow, or subscribe to the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's KK Has Issues. Her name is Kelly Campbell Goodnow. She's the executive director in Gold Star Spouse. She was right here on this show a couple of months ago talking about the golf tournament they had for Valor Partners. Valor Partners raises money for relatives of those who have died in the military or are incapacitated because of their service in the military. Whatever they give in a scholarship, let's just say they gave $1,000 to somebody to go to UMKC, for example. UMKC would match that $1,000. It becomes a $2,000 scholarship. This is a wonderful organization. They're nearing $5 million in scholarships, which is unbelievable. And on September 21st at Chicken and Pickle, they're going to have a pickleball tournament to raise money. I would ask you this. If you like the show, if you like military charities, if you want to help out some folks in families where they've had a loss of a loved one or one that's incapacitated, you can sign up and play at valorpartners.org, or you can just go there and make a donation. It'd be great. They're doing this on the 21st from 4 to 7 p.m. during the NFL session there before the Chiefs play Sunday Night Football. They'll have a VIP watch party afterwards, but you don't have to stay. You don't even have to play pickleball. You could just go by that day, maybe watch a little football, have a cold one, make a little donation. They really need businesses to sponsor this. And they'll allow you to put like a pop-up or have a little store there or something you could sell your merch if you want. They've got the whole place at Chicken and Pickle. It's September 21st. Go to the website, Valor, V-A-L-O-R, valorpartners.org. That's valorpartners.org. Mark, you remember her being in here. She's just incredible. Gold Star widow, man. It's unbelievable.
She was awesome.
She's great. And she's dedicated her life to this, to helping these kids get to school and do the very best they can. So we're big fans of that charity. Have you heard the big news with Eric Stonestreet?
I have not, and I didn't look it up because I wanted to find out from you.
He married Lindsay Schweitzer.
Oh, okay.
We've been talking about the Travis and Taylor wedding, and I guess maybe it happened over the weekend. It wasn't publicized. He posted some pictures on Instagram. He did it here in Kansas City at a home that they'd been building for 5 years. They said for 5 years. They weren't really engaged, I guess, most of this time. He said, I'm building a house to get married in. And then he married her at the house, and now on they go. Do you know how he met his fiancée?
Tinder.
Big Slick.
Oh, Big Slick. Okay, so she's from right around here.
Yeah, she's from here. He met her at Big Slick. Nice. Dreams do come true, ladies.
Let's go. She probably had a table close up.
Yeah, she was trying to hit on Jason Sudeikis, but Eric Stonestreet was there.
I'm kidding. Get a table at Chicken and Pickle, and maybe you'll meet somebody, right?
Exactly right. That is exactly right. Good things can happen. That's pretty cool. There's some pictures online if you want to check it out. He's on Instagram. They look lovely, and I'll say this about Eric. I've met him a few times. Very nice man, very Kansas City, very low-key kind of guy. Looks like he lost a few pounds for the wedding, and they just look terrific. The two of them just look great. Good for them. I'm sounding like Trump now. Oh, what a beautiful couple.
Yeah, so beautiful. The most beautiful couple in Kansas City.
Look at this beautiful couple. They're the second most beautiful couple. Well, the third behind Patrick and the wife. It can't be all the way to the top. Yesterday on the show, we shared with everyone that the Dodgers had a no-hitter with 2 outs in the 9th inning on Saturday, leading 3-0, and lost the game. They had another no-hitter into the 9th inning last night. That's crazy.
I saw they took the guy out after the 7th because, was it Glasnow?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had thrown so many pitches by the 7th.
They took him out with a no-hitter. They replaced him in the 8th, and the guy didn't give up a hit. But then in the 9th, it all just got shattered.
Oh, no.
There it went. There's not been a no-hitter this year.
That's interesting.
I know.
We got a couple.
Yeah. Yamamoto the other day went 8 2/3. That's the longest of anybody this year. The Royals were no-hit last night into the 8th inning. Where would you rank the Royals if some team was going to get no-hit this year? Where would you rank the Royals, 1 through 30?
I thought that would have happened to them back in June. I'm kind of shocked that it didn't happen back in June.
It definitely feels like it could happen with Bobby Witt out of the lineup.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see if he's back today. The Royals got boat raced last night by Cleveland. They now trail Cleveland and Seattle and the Rangers, all three, and they're 3 games back.
Their only chance now is they have to win every series the rest of the season, and that starts tonight. You have to win 2 in a row against Cleveland.
I feel like the Royals need, if they could just get a 5-game winning streak, but they can't. They win a couple of games in a row, and you're like, okay, they scored a bunch of runs Saturday. You're like, here they go. This is it, man. They won a close game Friday night. Then they bombed the Twins on Saturday. You're like, okay, sweep on Sunday. They weren't even in the game.
Yeah, not having Reagans and Bubic really hurt them this year.
Big deal. If you didn't know this about Mark Van Parley, he likes to keep scores of football games and see how they do against something called a betting line. And you hit a parlay over the weekend, correct?
Yes.
How many legs to the parlay?
I had 5.
5 legs. That's a big payout.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to keep you going for a while, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the week that Vegas had? They won. They beat everybody but you, apparently.
Okay.
Over totals. Let's say totals of the game's 48. If 38 total points are scored, it went under. If 58 total points are scored, it went over. Unders were 12-3.
Not bad.
Yeah, Vegas crushed it because nobody bets the unders.
No.
Nobody bets the unders. And teams that had the most bet on them had more than 50% of the handle, what they call the handle of all the money bet. Those teams went 3-12. Vegas won everything.
Against the spread was tough this weekend. I went 6-8 on my show.
It was just a complete, clean sweep. It's very disappointing. I don't like it when Vegas wins. I think I'd rather Vegas lose than me win. I don't know what it is I've got about Vegas. I'm serious because I don't bet that much. Like if I lose, okay, I lost a couple of games or whatever. I love the stories when they go, wow, Vegas lost $17 million last month on sports. I'm like, yes!
Yeah.
Let's go get them.
Starts this weekend. We'll win again.
You're doing your part, buddy. Dial up that pick for Friday. We got you going. We got you covered right here on Uncanceled. The Vince Show's coming up next. Have a great day.